I am here to give an update on last night's investigation of police-involved shooting and the felonious assault that happened at the restaurant. And that occurred on February 11th on Stelzer Road at Montclair Drive, where the police-involved shooting happened. I responded to the scene along with many of our personnel to the shooting and was briefed last night what the circumstances were and where the investigation was going to lead from there. We do have 4 victims. They have been identified. William Foley, a male, 54. He remains in critical condition but stable at Grant Medical Center. Neil McBeacon, a male, 43. He was treated and released. And Gerald Russell and Debbie Russell, male and female, both 43. They're in stable condition at Grant Medical Center as well. Some of our victims have requested that you respect their privacy, so please do that. We are very grateful that our victims that sustained wounds last night are all expected to recover. So that's a very good thing. The suspect has been identified as Mohammed Bari, and that is Mohamed Bari, Barry. His date of birth is 8/16 of 1985. We believe that he acted alone, and we are not aware of any other accomplices at this time. The officer involved in the incident was Officer John Johnson, badge 318. He's a 25-year veteran and is assigned to the Patrol Bureau. He was working special duty for the Easton Town Center at the time. Based on the information that we have gathered, last night we contacted our Homeland Security Section Lieutenant in our counterterrorism unit. He then contacted the FBI, who was conducting their own investigation. In this investigation, we're looking at 3 different avenues. The felonious assault that happened at the restaurant, the police-involved shooting that happened at Montclair and Stelzer, and the federal investigation of the suspect and his possible motivations. We will be working cooperatively, of course, with all of our federal agencies, and as information comes forward, any new information will be shared with you. I'm available for questions.
Chief, do you have a motive yet at this point? Anything you can say about why he was there, what he was trying to do?
We do not have a known motive at this time. That's what we're going to try to find out, as well as the FBI and our federal partners.
Usually the feds look at terror. Are you ruling that out at this point?
I would refer all the questions related to that to the FBI investigation, and Sergeant Weiner has the information for their media relations person.
Is this being investigated as a possible hate crime?
I believe that that's what the FBI will be able to talk to you about.
Do we have a middle initial?
I do not have that at this time.
No middle initial.
What kind of history do you have with this suspect?
I'm not aware that we have any known history with the suspect at this time.
So is the FBI in charge of this investigation?
We are conducting the police-involved shooting and the felonious assault because that is within our jurisdiction, and our CERT team is the investigators for the police-involved shooting. The FBI will be doing their own separate investigation, but we'll be sharing information.
So the FBI is investigating the incident at the restaurant?
Well, I don't know what they're specifically going to be investigating, but they'll be investigating the suspect and what his motivations might have been.
Why is the FBI instead of the police department?
Well, we'll be interested in that as well because it's a felonious assault that occurred within our jurisdiction. So we will be sharing information as it's relevant.
Chief, can you talk about the timeline a little bit? Basically, when he went in, the conversation that was had, and him coming back. Can you spell it out for us what happened on?
I don't have that specific information about the time. We believe that there was a approach before he came back and committed the felonious assault. But I don't know what the exact words were that were exchanged, but that is part of the investigation.
We heard the owner told us that he came in, asked about the owner's origin, asked about the food that was served, a lot about the country that was from and that he was from. Is this what you're hearing?
Our detectives will be getting that information from all of the witnesses and the owner, of course.
Chief, was there something that you all found in his car that caused you to contact federal authorities?
It was a compilation of information that we gathered there at the scene.
Chief, what can you tell us about him, about his background?
Deputy Chief Woods can answer that.
One of the additional factors that helped us out with that was the fact that based upon the nature of the assault, what we've seen around the country and internationally, we just thought it was prudent at that time to bring our federal partners in to help us look at this right from the beginning. This was an individual walked in and from every account at that time was by himself, but raised enough flags with us that the best thing for us to do is bring in anyone that can help us out with this investigation right from the get-go, and so they have the same information that we do moving forward.
What were
Did
the
he say
flags that were
anything
raised? You said raised enough flags. What were those flags?
Lone individual, machete, going into a public place, committing an assault on people that he apparently does not know. Those are the things that give us concern, and those are the things we wanted to answer right away.
Did it sound like a lone wolf kind of attack?
Well, I won't say a lone wolf, but it's obviously one individual. So that's what we want to base our information off of. That's always a possibility. So start from the beginning, bring everybody in that you have right from the get-go. That way you're not working backwards.
The owner of the restaurant says he believed this was an act of what he is calling racial terrorism. So
we will want to interview that owner further to gather more information from him to understand why he believes that, and we'll look at that information and share that information as well.
What can you tell us about the suspect? Is he from Columbus? Have he immigrated here? What's his background?
He had an address here in Columbus. I don't think we know where he was born at this point in time.
Going back to the car, why was the bomb squad out there last night?
Well,
Precautionary.
Yeah.
You know, we just had an individual commit several felonious assaults, lead the police on a small chase, and it's always prudent. We just, we take every extra step that we can when we encounter something like that.
But you don't see the bomb squad after every police chase.
You don't see the bomb squad, correct, but you may see the bomb squad after an attack at a restaurant, then a police chase, then a police-involved shooting. So when you put all those factors together, we're going to take every precaution.
I mean, that's the prudent thing to do.
Can you say whether there was anything exchanged between the suspect and the officers when they all finally did come together there on Stelton Road?
Changed his,
Verbally? I mean, other than
Oh.
commands for him to do things, did he say anything?
I don't think we have that information at this time.
how is your officer?
He's good. Just earlier in the day, actually, at Easton, while he was on regular patrol, he had arrested a man with a gun that was walking around. He is out there in the field every single day fighting crime and trying to keep our community safe, and he took it upon himself to be a part of this particular situation, even though his assignment was special at Easton last night. But he knew that this was a volatile situation, a dangerous situation, and he needed to take action, and he did. So we're very proud of him.
Is there anything more you can tell us about the movement of the suspect from the restaurant to the Easton area where you got these 911 calls where people apparently, one person was actually hit by this car apparently, and the car turned around, I guess. Is there anything more you can tell about where you think he was going and then what happened at that point, how the accident happened?
Well, we don't know where he was trying to go, but we did start getting information about the suspect vehicle, and as it came in, we were putting two and two together. So yes, we believe that he might have hit a car on his way away from the scene, and then when the officers picked up that car, they did try to do a precision immobilization tactic so that we could bring him to a stop. And so that's how we got into it, by the calls that we get and the information that we receive from the scene about the suspect vehicle's description.
Is that the pit where you try to hit the back and spin it around? Is that
It's a nudge, yes, and it does try to do that.
So the fact that you contacted Homeland Security, the counterterrorism people, and the FBI, was your suspicion that his motivation was an act of terrorism? Is that what you're saying?
We certainly understand that those possibilities are out there in this day and age, and so it was prudent to bring them in to determine whether or not that was part of the factor.
My other question, are there two investigations going on, or is it an FBI investigation into the incident that happened at the restaurant?
Both agencies are conducting investigations.
Chief, with possibilities that this might just be terrorism, how concerning is that for you, that it happened right here in the city?
Well, it's always concerning. Whatever brings danger to our citizens concerns us, and there's danger that we face every single day from people that have guns, knives, and various other methods of attack, and we will deal with them effectively no matter what the motivation is. And certainly we are working with our federal partners just to make sure that we know what they are able to help us with.
Could you speak to the actions of the victims in the restaurant when this all took place?
I believe that they were just randomly attacked, spontaneously without warning. And of course, there was a lot of of people that jumped up and were trying to take cover. I think that's one of the reasons why we got reports from people at other locations, because they had fled the restaurant area. So I'm sure it was chaotic. I'm sure that they were very scared, and that's why we were able to get there as fast as we were and try to bring some calm to that particular situation and make sure that there was no further harm going on.
Can you talk about, I know the machetes come in different sizes. What are we talking about?
It's in evidence, but I haven't seen it.
Do you know if anybody has come forward to claim his body, or have you been able to reach his family?
Well, first of all, there would be an autopsy conducted, so I don't know anything about the results of contacting his family.
Any information about him? Did he have a job? How long did he live here?
That's part of the investigation. We'll be looking into that.
Chief, was the concern about potential terrorism the reason that you personally responded to this?
I try to respond to all of our police involved shootings. It's important that we go out to the scene and find out if our officers are okay, whether or not the investigation needs my attention. We've got very highly qualified, highly skilled people to do that investigation, but I need to know for myself how they are and what the circumstances of that are, so I try to get to as many as I possibly can.
Have the feds indicated to you whether or not he was on a terror watch list?
No, the federal agents haven't told us what the circumstances were of his involvement, but they will, I'm sure, be talking to us more thoroughly about, what's...
I think the big thing for us to remember is we're less than 24 hours out of this incident occurring. So everything is still fresh, everything is still unfolding. So we have homicide conducting an investigation. We have our federal partners assisting us with this investigation. So it's still very fresh, it's still very new, but what we wanted to do today was give you as much information as we have right now, but also that we have a number for you to contact for the FBI that they may be able to provide you some additional information that they have that we just don't have yet.
I'm sorry, somebody asked this earlier. Were you able to get his middle initial?
We don't have it.
You don't have it.
Surprised you don't have a history with this suspect prior to this?
I don't know if that's a surprise or not. It just depends on what he'd done prior to last night. We don't know if there was any law enforcement interaction before last night. But that's another one of those things that we're going to take a look at. What was he doing here in Columbus? How long has he been here? And try and get some fact patterns for us to understand the motive behind everything.
What exactly did you find in his car? The bomb squad was called out. Was there anything in his car?
The bomb squad hit negative on the car, so there were no explosives detected in the car. We're going to write a search warrant to execute on the vehicle, and items that will be taken from that will be subsequent to that search warrant. I don't know if that's taken place or not yet. Homicide will be following up with that part of it.
What about where he lived? Any searches there? Anything found?
That's a good possibility that we will follow up there as well. Just as a part of a normal investigation, regardless of the motive with it, it's a police involved shooting, so we want to find out as much as we can. So looking at the vehicle, looking at any residents, interviewing people that he knows, that's just part of a police involved shooting package that we would put together.
At this point, did he live alone?
We don't know yet. Yes.
Was the suspect tased?
I believe that the officers at least attempted to. So I don't know if it was effective or not, but I do believe that they tried to use the taser.
So the scenario was it sounds like there were multiple officers at that confrontation.
Yes.
It was Officer Johnson who fired the shots.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
Did no other officers fire shots?
Correct.
Who deployed the taser?
I don't think I have that information at this point in time.
Was the suspect wielding the machete at this point? Did he have the machete in his hand?
I don't know what the officer's statements were, so I really can't answer that question.
We have time for two more questions.
Was there videotape in the restaurant by chance? Is that something part of the
I don't know.
investigation?
I don't know that. That's one of the things that homicide will follow up with is part of that, working that scene to see if there's surveillance, and we'll try to obtain a copy of that.
Is there dash cam
I don't think that the pursuit vehicle of Officer Johnson has it because it is actually owned by Easton. So I'm not sure. There might be some other cruiser video that caught parts of that, and that's part of the investigation.
And my last question, what exactly, I guess, was he wearing? Listening to these 911 calls, a lot of people are like, this is a Muslim man, headscarf. What exactly was he wearing? What?
I don't have that.
I did not see the body after the shooting took place, but again, that'll be something that homicide will do when the body goes to the coroner's office for the autopsy. They will record all that information.
All right, that's it, and I actually have some answers to some of those questions for you, so I can answer those off camera for you guys so you have the information. Okay? Thanks, Chief.